A very good evening to everyone here, and welcome to the 11th episode of TuriyaTalks, Season 5, Voice Your Notion. As for now, we all are confined to our homes, but communication has not been confined yet. We share our thoughts and emotions freely during this pandemic, being at our homes. So, let me welcome our today's guest, Dr. Charu Dutt Arora, MD, and the director of the Rising Wizards. He is an ardent admirer of science and has completed his medical degree with gold medals and honors from the prestigious TN Government College of Mumbai and has done his post-graduation from Harvard Medical School, Boston. He has also his fellowship in infectious diseases from UNSW Australia. He has been awarded with the Most Versatile Doctor by India Professions Award in 2017-2018 and with the Rising Star in Medical Research by Government of UP and has more than national and international publications in his name. He has also represented India in WHSS Summit in East Africa. He has been working continuously as a frontliner during this pandemic and on the response team by providing continuous services to the general population through free hotline consultation. Besides this, he has a knack for fashion and is an active member of the industry. He is involved in event management, designing, and production shoots. This year, he has started his modeling agency, The Rising Wizards, which has continuously been organizing a number of fashion shows, brand shoots, and events. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you so much, Akil. Thank you so very much for such a nice, kind, and humbling introduction. I hope you're staying safe and everything is good at your end.
Beautiful. So, let me start with directly. So, you seem to have a vast profile, but what astonishes me is that you are basically a medical practitioner by profession. But what attracted you towards the fashion in between?
So, Akil, the desire to get into fashion was something which was inculcated in me through my love in art, craft, styling, and glamour. And it was not something which happened of late. It has been since childhood. I was born in Maharashtra, and then I did my education, my preliminary education, schooling from Delhi and Gurgaon. It was during that time that I was always interested in painting and designing clothes, designing garments, I would say, different accessories and styling my mother. But there was a time in life when I was kind of in a dilemmatic situation to move ahead in my career as a fashion designer, or as a designer, or even as a doctor. But it was my mother's inspiration that moved me to get into medical sciences. After completing all my training, which I thought would be necessary to become a medical practitioner, it was last year, it was April of 2019 when I thought to give a kind of an organized shape to my passion of a fashion house. And that's when I started that I would never build something to be of a business plan, but it would be something to de-stress myself from a daily routine of a doctor. And that's what got me into opening the Rising Wizards or starting the Rising Wizards. So basically, the Rising Wizards is a platform agency. It's a talent agency. It's a platform for the young talent, whether that's in modeling or designing, or it is styling or choreography or photography. And we tend to organize and produce shoots, web series, and even the brand endorsements, so that these talents can get the platform and they can do their bit to showcase their talent to the world.
That's inspiring. So, since when you speak about fashion, and now especially when the lockdown has been partially been lifted, but we have seen a surge in online shopping from various brands during the lockdown itself. So, how far has it been progressed?
So, Akhil, fashion is a very, very discretionable branch. It is one thing which is extremely discretionable. People do not tend to buy clothes, especially in the first half of the lockdown, because they were sitting inside the houses. It is a complete, kind of an off mood track. People are still struggling to take care of their daily finances, and monthly wages were kind of stuck. India was going through, rather the entire world was put on a halt, and it was a very unprecedented and unmoved time. So I believe we are still kind of figuring it out. Fashion and entertainment overall has been very adversely affected. But with the unlock guidelines and with the new government regulations, people are going virtual. People are going completely on an internet way, as you said, online shopping. But the shoots, the events are going to take a lot of time of coming back to normal, and we are hopeful that our talents will also get the equal chance, although this is a tough time.
Yes, indeed, it's a very tough time right now. So, as a frontliner, how do you tackle from your personal life as well as treating patients?
So, my specialization, Akil, has been critical care and infectious disease. That's actually the dual branch, which is taking care of all the sickest patients in the hospital. And being an ID specialist, my work revolves around all kinds of infection. One of them being corona. I remember seeing my first COVID patient on the March of the 4th, and he was a patient from Italy, and it was a very scary moment that the doctor himself didn't know what to do. Although I knew that the patient has a viral infection, I know that the pneumonia is setting inside the body, but it was a very strong pitch for any kind of an expanded role as a doctor to how to tackle this patient. And but with the kind of knowledge that we have gained, with the kind of experience that we have seen in the last 8 months from different patients, life has gone a little easier, I would say, from that standpoint. But when the patients, because with the new wave which is setting in, and the second the big inflow, the strong inflow of patients which is right now in all over the country, especially in North India, we are still facing a very hard time.
That's true. But and considering you being a medical practitioner, could you enlighten us your journey from the medical field to the fashion industry? Like how, like what were your hardships during your journey?
What was my come again? What was my
What were your hardships? What are things did you have to tackle to
so
infront in the end?
as a medical doctor working in an ICU, and my life revolving around the sickness of the patients, the hardships are too many to count. But on my fingertips, I would say that especially the unfathomed way or the unprecedented way that the surge has happened, and it was a completely unknown disease that has just out of a blue has come onto the stage. So to tackle that was definitely the number one hardship. And apart from that, bringing in the public system to a private hospital, this kind of an amalgamation of bringing the public awareness campaign, the information, education, and counseling activities to all the patients and their families, which actually involves each and everybody on the street. So that's the biggest hardship, because I know that although I'm taking care of a patient who's not known to me, the disease I can take back home as well. So this entire kind of a scare which was at the back of my head, because I'm tackling with the disease that has a very high infection rate, and going back to home where my parents are and they're senior citizens, this kind of scare was also a hardship. Apart from that, the government of India did a great job in tackling with the lockdown. The first lockdown did really well. We were able to save a lot of lives. That kind of gave us a kind of a preparation time to manage the disease, or kind of prepare ourselves with all the infrastructural resources that are required. That was also one hardship which we had overcome. And one big thing which I would say was the kind of struggle to educate the people, which is still lingering on, which is still in process. And the Indian public is still not understanding the importance of having the basic awareness messages of staying inside their homes unless it's necessary.
That's true. And also having, I mean, India is basically the second most populated country in the world, and it's still even like we do still try to take precautions, but somewhere or the other. But I mean, compared to how it was started, I think most of the people are actually taking into consideration all the measures and how to be safe. But as as a frontliner, how would you? I mean, what measures do you suggest to our audience as a basic precaution during this difficult time?
So, as a frontliner, the biggest precaution that we have to take is save ourselves before we save others. And saving ourselves require a lot of patience because there's a particular protocol by the World Health Organization and other international organizations on wear how to wear a particular PPE, which is a personal protective equipment. And it is not only a gown with a shield, which makes a PPE, it includes donning and doffing of all the equipments, whether that's a headgear, a glove, an eye gear, a complete gown, a complete PPE suit, as well as a footwear. So it's a complete protocol which takes 45 minutes every day of starting a routine, wearing that, and apart from that, being able to wear that for a long time, taking care of all the patients, despite the fact that they have a very infectious virus inside their body, not leaving the compassion and the humane touch which is required for them in their care. That is also one thing which is extremely pivotal in providing care to these patients who are uh, having this infection. So that was one thing as a frontliner, which which I have been taking care of. Apart from that, we have been training a lot of our nurses, a lot of our subordinates and residents, senior and junior residents, so that they can take care of this problem at their own regional level, and also help in the awareness campaigns which are going through the government or agencies.
But the question is, I mean, as being a frontliner, did you find any difference from your like previously like, your day-to-day life and now being like a frontliner? How was the experience?
My experience as a frontliner from day to day life has completely changed, because now I do not hug my parents. It's been 8 months now. Only hugging my dog is a luxury these days. Secondly, I've I used to be, I'm still a very very social person. Our entire the social lifestyle has changed, whether you say it's because of the time constraint or whether it's because of the inhibition in meeting people in public because of COVID. My daily routine has completely taken a turn, because waking up early in the morning and starting your day with the ICU rounds and seeing all the COVID patients, and then moving to online consults. A lot of patients now do not prefer coming to us for their regular checkups. The preventive health checkups are taking a toll. They're taking a back seat. So we understand that people are having a lot of inhibitions at the back of their head, and we have to cater to them. We do not say they are wrong, they're completely correct, but they need to understand and prioritize what is important at what point of time. So, our daily schedule, my daily activities have changed. Now, there is no time to return back to home. There used to be a 9 to 5 job as a doctor. Now, there's not. Patients have increased, the importance, and I would say the asking time of being a doctor in the ICU has taken a very very sharp increase. And when I come back, my parents do not open the door, my servants don't open the door. It's always open now. I call them from the car that I'm reaching in 10 minutes. They open the door of the house, and that's when I enter, move directly to my room, take a shower, put everything in a dirty linen bag, and then go and meet them. So this entire kind of streamlined process took time for sure. It took a lot of time to make it streamlined, but it has happened, and I'm happy for that.
But since you cure or you treat the patient day-to-day basis, so as till date, which is, I mean, how was your experience like? Which is the most difficult situation you have been in?
I think the most difficult situation that I have dealt in the last 8 months have been a couple. I would say my first patient was the most difficult one, because I was very much unaware of treating it as a bacterial or a fungal or a viral pneumonia. I knew it is COVID, but I don't know what to do, whether an influenza medicine will work for it or not. So that kind of scare, just imagine yourself, step yourself into the shoes of the doctor who doesn't know how to treat the patient who's sitting in front of him. So that kind of scare inside was extremely difficult. The second, I would say that recently received a 72-year-old gentleman from Jaipur. He was referred to me, and he actually contracted the virus 5 to 6 days before he was transferred to me in Delhi, in Gurgaon. But the condition in which he was transferred to me was extremely apologetic. It was extremely sorry. It was extremely pathetic, and that's what I sometimes I discuss that with my team also. That if in a place like Jaipur, which is still a like a stage 2 city, a tier 2 city or a tier 1, I would say, if that is the kind of treatment where people are not being taken care of with the adequate resources, then what is happening inside the rural areas, I'm completely flabbergasted by that. And taking care of that patient for the only reason that the patient kept on crying that please don't put me on the ventilator, uh, it was very unnerving for me. But whatever was required, and within 16 days of patient on being ventilator, it was yesterday that the 73-year-old gentleman was discharged in a very healthy manner, and both his sons congratulated me, thanked me. So there is always hope. There is always a ray of hope. All we need is patience, our our steadiness and our focus, and that's what takes us ahead.
That's really great. But what's your say on the upcoming vaccine? I mean, are you a part of the development as well, or
So no, actually, I'm not a part of the research team in the vaccine protocol, but a lot of my seniors are in, Bharat Biotech, or they are in Serum Institute of India. And honestly, there is a lot of, propaganda and a lot of conjecture which is being made about the vaccines coming tomorrow, or the Russia has started making the vaccine. Even then, Akil, I would like to pinpoint and emphasize on the fact that even if the vaccine gets delivered tomorrow to India, doesn't mean that Corona is gone. The COVID is not going to go anywhere. It is a virus which is going to stay. I sometimes feel that we have to make changes rather than thinking of something which is passive like a vaccine. Uh, Even a single shot of vaccine might not be enough. Every vaccine has a lot of long term side effects. Maybe this vaccine will also have. So there's a lot of uncertainty, and when there is uncertainty, then we should not rely on that. Rather, we should rely on ourselves, what we can do, what measures we can take to prevent ourselves from having this infection, and in case we have it, then when to seek a medical professional. That is very important. Rather, India has almost 120 million people, and the same amount, 120 billion people, and same 120 billion people tend to be doctors at their homes. So that is a very wrong approach. You need to know when to seek medical help, correct medical help, and when the vaccine comes, then we'll see what happens.
well, with this intense situation going on? So, how is your? I mean, how has been your relationship with your colleagues, with various doctors, nurses? How has that been?
Our relationships with the doctor community has always been very cordial. We are very, it's like a family. And the entire medical community is currently working together for COVID. And we are completely dedicated to, should I continue, Akil? Should I go ahead? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, sure. I think you're not visible on the screen. Yeah.
No, I'm
Yeah.
actually with you. Yeah. So I was just saying the community and the doctor community and the nursing community is completely dedicated. The nurses are, they're working 24/7. So are the doctors, and our relations with the doctor community is same as that of a family as before. It is going tough because we don't have, events even within the medical community that we used to have. We don't have them anymore because of COVID, and everybody is stressed. But at the same time, we all talk about it when we sit over a cup of coffee. We all discuss COVID and its, the new upcoming things. So yeah, and in a way, it's very nice because we all are getting updated on a daily level. We are not, and everybody is coming out with thousands of webinars every day. So it's a second updating measurement which is being done.
But during, I mean, as you see how the trends have been going right now. So, when do you think we would recover from this pandemic?
So pandemic never gets recovered, Akil. Pandemic is called a pandemic because it affects a lot of countries all over the world. We are not going to get recovered in a day. People say that 2020 is a bad year. May 2021 come fast. Rather, it's going to be worse because if it's everything is in our own hand. If we do not, if we do not comply to all the measures, if we do not take all the preventive efforts that are required, then then B, whatever year the pandemic is going to stay, the virus is going to stay. You have to, the virus is not going to disappear in a day. It's going to flatten it out. It's going to decrease. It's going to have its less infectivity. We'll have better treatments. So uh, I'm not seeing anywhere the virus to go before 2021 ends.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, unless we basically we unite with each other and follow rules, I think we could make it a successful operation. So,
Exactly.
as you see, the pandemic has affected us all. But regarding fashion, what do you think about its future right now?
So fashion and entertainment is going through a very tough time, Akhil. And as I said, that it's a very discretionable branch. People do not really. First of all, the stores are closed. Secondly, people are not. The buying capacity has kind of decreased because of the financial crisis, which is hovering around the country and the world. And third, that the events cannot happen. So all these three make the entertainment industry really gloomy. People are going extremely virtual. Shoots are happening virtual. Shows are happening virtual. Just last week, the FDCI, which is the apex body in the fashion industry in India, it did its largest show in a virtual platform. Now, how successful was it is a number which we have to look next time, but it couldn't attract any buyers, as of now. So that is something which we really need to look at. And I hope, a lot of my talents, a lot of my models, they had to move back to their hometown because they couldn't sustain living in a metropolitan city like Delhi and Bombay without an inflow of monthly income. Photographers were left in lurch. They had to go to their native places. So all these freelancing talents, creative aspects, they have got affected really badly. But now the shoots have begun. Small shoots are still happening twice or thrice on a weekly basis. May not be as large in a team with limited budgets as well. But they're happening, and I hope that things do get normal.
Great. So, as a fashion enthusiast, what brands do you follow?
As a fashion enthusiast, I follow. So fashion for me is always comfort. I always believe that one should be really comfortable in their own skin and their own brands. uh, for my accessories, I always follow Gucci Guilty is my favorite perfume. I always wear my Hermes belts. I love to wear Paver shoes. I love to wear CK shoes. These are some of the brands which I always follow. And when it comes to Indian designers, I love Jubinav Chadha. I I'm a big fan of the bridal wear for my models, so I prefer Sabyasachi and Anita Dongre. Recently, Anju Modi has launched her new collection called Sinduri, which is also a very feminine and fierceful collection. So these are the designers and the brands which I follow, apart from my own personal ones.
That's great. But what if, I mean, and if a client is approaching you, could you tell how the timeline is? How would you assist them? Like,
I would assist them in what?
and guiding them of basically about fashion itself. So, how would
Oh
you
yeah, for
be?
sure. So as a when a client approach us in the Rising Wizards, they actually approach us. They give us a brief of their brand, and then we tell them what is required for their brand in terms of endorsement, in terms of shoot, in terms of any event which is required, any PR strategy which is important. So these are the things which we kind of assist the brand in. And apart from that, if they need a shoot or an event to be done, then we provide all the important talents, whether that is photographer, stylist, makeup artist, and also the models. So this is the entire team. It's a complete production house which works under one umbrella. And so yeah, it just depends upon what brand asks us what.
But since you mentioned about shoots, and how are you handling it right now since this social
Your
distancing
voice just
and
broke up. Your voice just broke up.
okay, am I audible now?
You're audible, yes, you're audible, but your voice is echoing a lot.
How about now? Am I audible now?
Yes, please.
Okay. So as I said, so since you mentioned about shoots, how do you proceed with them right now in this pandemic, since we have to keep in mind the social distancing in our relatives?
So we are, that's what, first of all, I would like to say that I do not believe in the word social distancing. The word is completely a wrong word. It's called as physical distancing. I don't know why it has been named as social distancing. We all are socially connected. I never knew Akil Sukumar before this pandemic. So I'm actually socially connected to a new person altogether. I'm just physically distant from you. So it's physical distancing. And yeah, we, just like every other place, whether that's a restaurant, whether that's a eating outlet, whether that's shopping house, similarly like that, similarly in the same way, even in a fashion shoot, we are following physical distancing. We have restricted the number of team members. Earlier we used to have two light men, we had to have two photographers, all this makeup dada. But now we do not. We keep with a minimum staff, which is extremely required. Instead of five models doing two changes each, we do two models doing five changes each. The makeup artists have come up with new strategies to have limited touch, a very contactless approach by using disposable, spawns, disposable makeup products, so which can be used only for one model and can be thrown. So these small little changes have kind of definitely increased the cost, but they are taking care of the pandemic per se.
True, but in fashion, what ethics do you follow?
In fashion, what ethics do I follow? Wow, that's a very, very subjective question. I may be ethical for one and unethical for the other, but apart from that, I never thought of this question, to be honest, Akil. And it's a very bowling, like it's just stumping me out. I would say that the ethics in the fashion depend upon what really is your need. If somebody is needing a model, then the model should not be an influencer. A lot of people who look good and can face a good Instagram story or post a good Instagram story should not be termed as a model. So I personally believe that my ethic is to have the right person do the right job at the right time. And because there's a lot of fluidity in fashion in terms of sex, in terms of extra activities, I restrict that fluidity and I keep the right person at the right time doing the right job. So that is my ethic in fashion.
Great, but how can we maintain health and fashion at the same time?
So health and fashion are very, very linked actually, because if you look at it, one is important for yourself and one is important for your mood. So if imagine you look at two people, one being a very unhealthy person and one being a healthy person not wearing a good a garment, both are going to be strikingly very unpleasant to your eyes. So I would say that a fashionable person is important as a healthy man as well. So they both go hand in hand. You really need to keep a stylish edge to your entire life and keep yourself updated with the best garments or with the best accessories or with the best updated style which is going around the world. Rather make your own style and just stay fit. So that's what is health and fashion altogether.
That's very informative. But what would be your suggestion to the youth watching about maintaining fashion in this pandemic time?
What would be my suggestion to?
Basically to the youth watching out about maintaining fashion in this pandemic time.
I think my suggestion, I'm not the right person to give a suggestion or advice to the youth, because there are thousands and lakhs of more fashionable people than me, especially at this point of time when I even actually having a facial is a luxury for me, getting time from my hospital. But at the same time, I would say that uh, you can always involve yourself in thanking activities, in gratitude activities whenever you are facing a tough time like this. And staying fashionable doesn't mean that you have to buy expensive clothes. It can mean that you can recreate and recycle, upcycle your own old clothes, make something very chic from them, style yourself, improve your skin, improve on your daily activities, which brings a glow from within as well. So these are little things which can make you fashionable and also healthy during the pandemic.
But during this crisis, how do you balance both on day have being a doctor, like by the same day you become a fashion entrepreneur?
So, honestly, in the last 8 months, my time used to be 70% to the doctory and 30% to my fashion work. But in the past 8 months, the time has kind of decreased to 10% to the Rising Wizards and 90% to my medical field because of the requirement. At the same time, my team is very hardworking. I take a daily and a bi-weekly update of what is happening with the Rising Wizards. Right now, we have a shoot happening in Faridabad, like right now. So my team is out there, and we are working, towards the client needs, whether that is for a shoot or an event, and even for bridal wear. We have certain families who need, like a small wedding to be arranged, so we take care of the entire needs through our fashion house. So our team is working. I am taking care of it on a bi-weekly or a weekly basis, depending upon my time constraints. But yeah, the team is on it, and we are working on that.
Great. But since you mentioned shoots, could you tell how the process works? Of
The
how
process,
are
the
you?
shoots work in a way that whenever we have a designer who comes for a shoot or who comes with a new collection, they approach us in asking for the entire production, which includes a photographer, which includes a makeup artist, which includes styling. First, we look at the concept behind the garment which is made, behind the entire collection which is made, and we decide. We sit as a team, and then we cast our models. If they require male models, female models, we cast our models, and depending upon that, we take it ahead. So if it is a single day shoot, then we take it in a different. Then we also have to look at the venue. We also have to look at where the shoot has to be done, whether it's an indoor concept, an outdoor concept. So everything has to be sorted after in our brains, and then we take it ahead. But the majority of the time is actually involved in the casting of the models, because the face of the model is the face of the brand after that shoot, and that is what is important because ergonomics play a huge role in that.
Great. So, since you have started Rising Wizards, how has been your journey?
How has been?
How has been your journey till date?
My journey has been very topsy and turvy, to be honest, because I was completely new. I was a complete outsider to the fashion industry. The people have been very supportive. I organized a lot of pageants as well. The youth has been very cooperative. They have helped me to understand the process of casting. They have helped me to understand the process of directing. I directed two designer shoots last year myself. They were my directorial debuts, and they did really well. I've done a lot of editorials by now, and we have done more than 40 shows. And in the beginning of this year, we did a show in association with Audi Delhi South, which was held in Delhi, and it was done in 35 models, and it had a collection from a budding designer from the concept was from Kashmir. So the entire direction, the entire production was done by my company, and I think I've been very, very humbled by the love that I've received in the past 1 year.
That's really great. But as a fashion entrepreneur, have you personally, I mean, since the pandemic, have you personally suffered big financial losses due to the nationwide lockdown?
So, personally, as a fashion enthusiast, I have not suffered losses. But yes, just like everyone, because my talents are not working, my talents are not getting the job, my photographers are sitting at home, my models are, they have to leave the city of Delhi and Bombay. The shoots are limited, the budgets are restricted. So yeah, unintentionally, it's an indirect loss to the company. But yeah, it has happened. I would not deny the fact that it has not happened. It has happened, and we had to restrict our team from 12 to 5 now. Our interns are not working anymore because we don't require them for big shoots. So it has happened, but again, it is not something which has like a big loss. It is more of an indirect loss. Rather, I would say the models and the freelance artists have received a bigger loss than us.
Definitely. So, during this pandemic, no, sorry, basically before the pandemic, we were basically having a really a good life. So, and now, because of COVID-19, we have to maintain a lot of hygiene and lots of social distancing as well. So, do you think, and in terms of fashion industry, will it go back to the same like before?
It would take a lot of time, Akil. That was one question I was discussing to a very eminent stylist yesterday on Instagram. And when I spoke to that person, my question was that my question was exactly the same. Will we be able to go back to the pre-COVID era of fashion? It's going to take a lot of time. Rather, I believe that this is the new normal, and we should stick to it. We should abide to it. We should learn the new normal. And since the virus is not anywhere to go, but we have to work, we have to earn, we have to fill our pockets. So why not to do it in a new way? So I would just say that the COVID era is a new era, and let's just learn to live with it.
Definitely. So, could we take a few questions from the audience?
Please go ahead.
Sure. Okay, we have a question from Dipshita. How to take care of mental health during lockdown? What pressure is too much due to work from home culture? What
I
you say
totally
on that?
agree with Dipshita because I have seen my own cousins and my family members doing work from home. I used to say that it's a very big luxury, but now I believe it's a big terror because there is no particular time of being glued to your laptop. It's continuously till your boss is out of the work you have to be on. So how to take care of your mental health? I would say just be thankful. Just do a little bit of stress-free activities. Just do a little bit of yoga, meditation. These are very important. We have actually seen that a 30-minute yoga activity or a meditation activity calms your brain, decreases your stress hormones, and has a great effect on immunity as well. Also, I would say that involve yourself in household activities. I myself have been very away from it because of the time problem, but because I'm always in the hospital. But I would say that even if by cooking a single sandwich or by baking a small cookie makes you happy, then do that because a household activity, it releases endorphins, which are good hormones, and they make you feel better.
Great. Basically, for each fashion show, it speaks for itself. So, what do you think is the future for fashion weeks, considering keeping social distancing and related actions in home?
I think fashion weeks are going to take a lot of time, Akil, to come back. Just like I said, FDCI did its first virtual fashion show this past week. So virtual fashion and cinematographic collection uploads is the future. I would say at least for the next 4 seasons. Definitely for the next 4 seasons because people are also going to be very, very scared and afraid of going to fashion weeks, attend the big parties, being in a party of 50 people. That's going to be a little bit scary, but I would say as long as the designer and as long as the audience is connecting to the collection on a virtual medium, nothing beats that.
Definitely. So, let's take a few more questions from the audience. Um, I think they got all your answers.
Perfect. That sounds very good.
So, shall we wrap up the episode?
Please, as you say. First, I would
So,
just like to thank actually Sandhya, because she has been very, very instrumental in getting me on board. And she messaged me. I remember it was 1.5 months back when she messaged me on WhatsApp that I'm looking forward to talk to you. And I want to apologize to her through this medium as well that I have not been able to connect with her because I was really busy with the hospital activities. But at the same time, thank you so much, Akil. Thank you so much, Turiya Talks. Thank you so much to all the viewers, to all our audience on YouTube who are watching this show. My only last message to all of you will be stay fashionable, stay happy, stay healthy, but please stay home if it's not absolutely necessary to stay out to go out. So just keep this mantra in your head and do the good work that you guys are doing. Stay connected, and thank you so much.
thank you so much, Doctor. I would like to play the promo for our next episode.
Please do.
Yeah. So, Doctor, I very much appreciate the thoughts you have shared with the viewers today, which were very helpful. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Once again, thank you so much. Good day.
Thank you so much, Akil. Have a great weekend ahead. Bye.
You too. Bye.